everyone for joining. I really appreciate it. I am here located in California. It's like around 12 noon at my end. So it seems like we have people and audience from all around the globe. So this is great. So good morning for people in AM zone. Good evening for other basically people. I feel like we have people I see from Colombia, from Asia, from Europe. That's really great. So this is a really great opportunity for all of us to meet and connect. I just basically will give like a brief introduction about this course and what is it will be about for data visualizations, what kind of topics that will be basically covered during the course, and basically more important, like the application in real world scenarios in the industry and in academia world as well, and why data visualization is very important. It's very important in all domains. If you work in like an engineering industry, in medical industry, in education, social work, so data visualization is very powerful tool that will give us insight and help us to learn more about our data, how to represent this data in a graphical way, and how basically this graphical representation for information and data will help us to simplify complex data and help us to make decisions based on data. And also, it will help us to enhance data interpretations, facilitate decision makings, facilitate communications with the stakeholders and different audience. And in this course also, we will learn more about different tools like using some of the Python libraries. So we'll use also Excel, Tableau, Power BI. In Python, we will focus a lot on Matplot library, Seaborn, Plotly. I will share my slides in a little bit, and I will show you some examples as well. Um, in addition, we will learn more about basically how to create your dashboard, how to create in this dashboard different charts, different type of charts, pie charts as example. Also, we will learn about Seaborn for data visualizations, which is basically Python data visualization library that built on top of Matplot library, and it's provide high level interface for creating attractive and more informative, more statistical graphs, more representations for your data. And we will learn more about different type of data types and sources, such as numerical data, categorical data, time series data. So as example, continuous or discrete numerical values such as sales, revenue, age. Another example for categorical data, it could be grouped into different classes and categories, as example, gender, regions, etc. We learn about some time series data. So as example, data indexed by time, stock price, weather data. And we will learn also the motivation behind these different libraries and which one to pick and choose based on your application, based on your needs or on the customer needs. So as example, why we use Seaborn? Because Seaborn basically provide better representation compared to raw matplot data. It's built-in support for complex statistical plots like pair plots, box plots, or even heat maps. How you create heat maps with different colors, where each color like represent different areas in your map and help you to make a better decision based on the data. Also, Seaborn as example, it's easier to integrate with pandas tables and data frames. We also, I know like for data visual it's require also some of the programming skills, especially with Python, like and understanding of the OOP concepts, object oriented programming, to how to deal with different libraries, methods, how to invoke methods, how to create objects, etc. But it's okay. I want also to rest assure you here, even if you don't have programming background, it's really not complicated. And also in this course, we'll provide kind of high level introduction and review for some of the key concepts that in Python that we use as a tool for data visualize. So don't be scared, even if you don't have programming skills, it's still you're able to attend this course. Another thing also we'll talk about, as example, Tableau basing. So basically, how to create your dashboard, because Tableau is really powerful, user-friendly data visualization tool that will enable the customers, will enable the users to create their interactive dashboards. So if you work at the company, I want to create your report to senior managers. To senior management, you need to create dashboard and you need to be interactive, meaning, okay, if I want to look for product X at month Y with basically all customer who live in San Diego, how can I build this data interactively in real time while you giving basically your representation to senior management at work, or you work at school, how you give this report basically to principals, teachers, and the students. Also, we will talk about some of the data connections and some of the typical basics like data connections. How can we import data from different resources like Excel, SQL database, or even a cloud services? How can we import this data and connect it to our Tableau dashboard? How to visualize and build this visualization format for our data? How can even a drag and drop fields to create bars, to create charts, line charts, scatter plots? Another thing we learn about also, how can you do filtering? Now you have this big amount of data. How can you filter it out? You have a charts, but this charts showing different products at different milestones, and it shows products with, let's say, you have bugs reported against your, let's say your product is a software, and you have a build and there are too many bugs. And how can you classify these bugs? How could focus more for the next sprint, like let's say on P0 bugs? How can you punt, let's say, some of the bugs to the next milestones? So all these kind of skills that we will learn, and we will basically visualize in it. This is more important because as you see, as you know, like basically real world scenarios, we really most of our life with imaging, right? So you see the basically objects around you, you drive, you see the street. So a lot of data come and custom to our brain by visualizing. So basically also to how to visualize raw data, it helps us for better understanding, which leads to better decision making. So I think dashboards, yeah, this is a very powerful tool, and it's a key to be successful at your basically job or in your company or in your school as well. Also, in addition to all, we learn about more in depth about Matplot library and Seaborn. Basically, we will visualize like spatial data using libraries like Basemap, GeoPandas. Also, Seaborn can be combined with maps to overlay like data to geographical regions. We will provide some Python examples. How can we import these libraries? How can we load some sample of the map data? And how can we plot it against different countries? Another topic also we will focus on, which is what we call like time-based visualizations. So in time-based visualization, basically we'll have like line plots are commonly used to present time series data. We'll combine also seaborns with the matplot library for flexibilities. We will learn how to use the libraries that provided there and how to create sample time series data using data frames from Panda. We will learn about how to plot and represent this data in different basically charts and types like line plot or scatter plot or pie chart, etc. Beside that, also we will learn in this course about some of the design principles in data visualizations. So some of the principles such as like a clarity, simplicity, how to make sure it's consistent, how is to make sure it's interactive, and we'll have a lot of hands-on work during the course. So basically, will focus on different, basically hands-on questions and the problems from real-world scenarios. We provide the data, you learn how to upload this data and visualize it as well. So in summary, I would say like Matplotlib library and Seaborn, they provide really robust tools for creating details and the statistical visualizations. While Tableau basically simplifies dashboards, make the interactions, and they create with it's very user friendly tool. Basically, you can drag and drop different functionalities. Also, geographic and time series visualizations are very essential in this course. So to analyze the trends and the spatial data. Also, to follow design principles is very important. It's really core effective and impactful. And these design principles, as I mentioned, which is the clarity, simplicity, consistency, and interactivity. And let me ask you a question here, very question. How many of you don't know Python, or let's say don't know any programming language, or have zero experience with programming languages? If you can just you can share your thoughts, or you just can paste it in the chat. Any thoughts, any ideas? Just share. That's fine. Nothing scary. Even if you don't have programming experience, that should be fine. So I see no experience. I don't know Python. The slide same here. I don't know Python. I have zero experience. Same here. I too also cannot. Okay. Okay, guys, the slides I will share it with little bit. Don't worry about it. But I see here first response. It seems many of you don't have programming experience on Python, so that's fine. No problem. It's not a big deal. Michael, I know Matplot library and Seaborn a little. Just to refresh more. So that's fine. So this is good. I always try at the beginning of my courses, I apply what I call backward engineering design, meaning I try to understand my students, where they at, what they know, what they don't know, what they're missing, where is the gap, and missing key item to be successful with this course. So that's fine. So based on this basically quick feedback, I feel there is a need just to give you maybe a kind of refreshment for Python and OOP concepts in general. So this is what we call backward engineering design. So basically, we start from the students, understand what they know, what they don't know, and then we design our courses based on that. Okay, do you see my my slides now? Oh, I see. I see question here in the Q&A. So someone asking how data visualization impacts technology platforms in today's workforce. This is good question. Thank you for asking. I think data visualization, it's really revolutionized, like basically how technology it support the decision making process. So I think to visualize our data when we report it, especially to the senior management, to the leaderships, it's very helpful tool for collaborations and innovations and today's work industry workforce in different domains, as I mentioned, like medicine and engineering and educations. So it really helped by enable the business to interact with their data. So they rely on actual and factual data, visualize it, and it's become a great tool, basically to impact and improve and develop technology platforms and advance it. I will give you example, real world example. I worked long time ago in auto industry as a software actually engineer and was in wireless communication systems domain. And at that time, we have the plans. They basically produce thousands of vehicles per day, and it really basically rely on supply chain. And one of the things when the vehicle go to the product line in the plant, so basically there is a process how to put the parts together. There is like millions of screws there, thousands of parts that need to fit and sit in a place together, and the right when you apply the right force, the right torque, the right momentum. And one of the challenging there, like, okay, when you go to the plants, let's say people work on putting things together, there is big part also automated, but sometimes there is a human error there. And this a human error, basically, it come when, let's say, you put different pieces together and you don't like screw them together in the right way. Sometimes people apply extra force to do it, and this is down the road cause malfunctions and can even impact some of the KPIs for the vehicles. And to collect this data, it's really hard. Like if you want to collect it and just basically manually look at the data as a raw data and to make decision based on that. So one of the things we did, we applied AI machine learning in that domain. And what we did, we said, okay, every time, let's say, when you put in the vehicle, let's say, item X with item Y, this is how much force and torque you should apply basically to the connecting parts, right? So to collect this data, there is sometimes when you put the screwdriver or clips two parts together, there is a sound. This sound basically it will be different if you apply basically extra force, like, or is less force, or like the torque is not the right amount. So this sounds be different. So what we did, we have sensors devices that collect this voice data, and this voice data basically it's mapped out to, okay, this is basically these two parts basically composed together and correctly or wrong. So basically it we classify it. This is and based on this classifications, we feed out our dashboard, and the dashboard will take this raw data and visualize it. So basically it will show you like the in terms of percentage, how many parts were basically placed incorrectly versus not. And this is help us at the leadership, like they say, okay, for this plant we need to provide more training for employee basically to perform their job in better quality. Another thing, another example I will tell you, like I worked in also a different company, and this company was software product for wireless communication system, basically embedded systems. And as you know, I'm sure many of you would work in companies, we deal with in software we do what we call bugs, and bugs is basically a software defect. And now these bugs, you work in a project X, and this is a project, let's say, a time frame for 1 year. You have multiple milestones. You have different, basically, outcome and goals for different milestones. Now, these bugs, sometimes you have like hundreds and hundreds of these bugs, and these bugs is really have a lot of data in terms of priority. As example, P0, P1, P2, etc. In terms of severity, is this bug? It's basically if we didn't fix it, it will block the whole product. As example, let's say your product is the Bluetooth technology in your iPhone. If turning on Bluetooth on it's not working, then basically this is will break all features come with the Bluetooth product in your phone. As example, it will block A2DB, which is advanced audio distribution profile, when you try to stream music basically to your headset. Or it will break basically, it will block HFP feature, hands-free profile. It will block also like head human interface devices, like to connect mouse. So this is kind of P0 bugs. Now, visualization, when you take all this data and you provide it to the management, not only look at it as, okay, we have thousands of bugs with all these details as a road, it's really hard for them to basically to see the big picture and make a rule, like make a decision, the right and the correct decision at that point. So when you visualize it, make it easier to see the big picture and make the right decision based on that. I hope I answered your question. If not, please share your thoughts. So just to summarize, so this is basically it will improve the decision making process so that it will be data driven decisions. Also give you real time insights. So basically when you visualize data, the dashboards, all these KPI metrics, it will provide you real time data, will help the business make more smart decisions. In addition, basically, there's tons of examples on this. Maybe you can think about commercial or retail platform that could use like sales information, right? How many items of this product been sold in real time? As example, you go to Target or Walmart. I'm not sure people who never been in USA. So Target or Walmart, this is the biggest like a grocery stores kind of where you find um, thousands of items in one place. So basically, let's say you want to buy sugar can, and you can use the data every time the customer walk into Target, buy a sugar can, then this is will feed the database system. Okay, this item on shelf number 5 in row number 10 now is decrement by 1. So that means it will feed this data, you visualize it, it will look at the bar and say, oh, this bar now below threshold because I have only 3 items left there. Now we need someone to go there and fill basically with that item to add more item to that shelf, etc. So I hope I answered your question. If not, let me know. Okay, Evelyn, JavaScript. Okay, that's fine. Java, at least you have the programming background. No worry. Evelyn, okay, thank you. Let me see. Okay, so I hope all of you can see my slides now. So again, as I mentioned, so basically this course, it will basically refer to graphical representation for information and data. And as I mentioned, the purpose and the goal, the motivation here is to simplify this data and to have like data-driven decision-making process. So basically it will simplify complex data and it will make information easier to digest and to understand, and then you make decision based on that. And some of the common tools, as I mentioned, we talked about Python. We'll use a lot of Python. Don't worry if you don't know Python, if you don't know any programming language, that's fine. We will meet you where you're at. We'll try to understand what you know, what you don't know, and also to provide you a brief introduction to Python and OOP concept. So this way, when you try to have hands-on experience and run of the Python code, you will be feel like more I would say more relaxed and basically secure with it. So please, nothing is scary here. Programming language is not really a beast. It's a tool that help us to accomplish tasks. So and I always tell my students, many people they think, oh, coding, programming language, this is really something complicated. This is not for me. This is something you have to be genius to do it, and actually, it's not because if you look at it from real world scenarios, programming languages, what's a programming language? It's basically a tool or a way that we communicate, let's say English language, right? So it's a tool or a way we can communicate with each other, we can exchange information, we can learn from each other. And if you look at English language, it consists of 26 alphabets, right? Out of these 26 alphabets, you can basically create thousand words and sentences and paragraphs. The same thing in the programming languages. It's basically a tool or language to communicate with the computer, to tell the computer what to do and tasks to accomplish. So basically, we harness the computer here. And actually, as a matter of fact, and when we deal with computer program, it's much easier than natural languages such as English or Arabic or Mandarin. Why? Because when you learn English, you need to learn how to read, how to write, how to listen, how to speak. You need to learn about the grammars, etc. In computer languages, basically there is two skills, the main skills. You need to know how to read and how to write. And of course, there is designing and the stuff, but this is even when you articulate and when you speak in English language, you need also to design and articulate your thoughts. But if you look at it, basically, a computer programming language, nothing is scary. Anyone can do it. You don't have to have even computer science or engineering background to write a code and basically to be fluent in computer programming languages. I would to mention also other tools in addition to Python libraries, which is Excel. I think Excel and Google Sheets, as example, they're very powerful tools. You can create charts, you can visualize your data, you can write formulas. As example, you are a teacher in the class, you have 40 students in your class, and now you need to basically calculate the average for your students, their GPA. You need to highlight, okay, students who basically not performing well, I need to create early alert system to tell the students, you guys, you're not on a track. Your KPIs, your basically grades not showing good performance. So you better you work on your assignments and review stuff and learn more, put more efforts, more hours to catch up. So I think, yeah, to learn about Excel, Google Sheet is very powerful tools, and I think I'm seeing this in industry all over the place. PGMs, TBMs, technical program managers, managers, engineers, they use like Google Sheets or Excel to visualize their data, analyze their data, clean it up, and make sense of it for decision making process. All right. So I know not much time left around here, so I will go through my slides very quick, and then I will open the stage for Q&A. So this is here an example, just like to show you basically how to visualize data. In this basically chart here, you can see months from January all the way to May. So basically January, February, March, April, May, and you need to basically visualize the sales data. So you want to see in January how many basically and how much your revenue or sales in terms of dollars January versus April. You want to compare like Q1 versus Q2, and you see the progress. Are we doing good? We doing bad? As we see here in March, it was the lowest. What the reason behind this? Was it like a seasonal case? Like, as you know, like in general, people like toward the seasons, like Christmas or end of the year, people tends to buy more, like buy more gifts, right? Travel, trips, so spend more money. While maybe sometimes toward the mid of the year, people like basically less activities. They don't buy that as much as compared to the seasons. You try to make sense of this data. Let's say in April, what happened? Why we have more sales in April versus March? Is it because we introduce a new products, or is it we have like a new leadership, a new team member joined the team, and they improved basically our sales numbers? So all these questions, all these kind of analysis, you basically rely on visualizing data to create all this kind of analysis and help you actually to understand how to improve it. The most important thing to read the data, analyze it, understand our situation and the current status, and how can basically improve our sales for the future based on this data. So you try to identify if our sales in March was low, then what were the root causes, and then the root cause basically if we have basically products in the wrong, basically let's say we are selling heaters in summertime, right? You go to Costco and let's say and their shelves will have like a heater summertime. So this is can basically explain because people tends not many people need to buy heaters for summer, right? Or let's say AC conditioner like in winter time. People need heaters. So this all these kind of to look at the problem from different angles, understand the root cause, it will help like to identify the solution. Another example here also we can represent data using bar charts. We can representing using line charts. So basically to see the trends over time. As example, nowadays many people talking about like a cryptocurrency, right? And many people talk about Dogecoin and Bitcoins, etc. So if you are in a stock market and you need to buy stocks, it's very helpful to look basically at the line charts and see how's the stock like performing over the last 6 months or over the last year, etc. And you see basically when it's went up, when it's go down, and what the pattern there. You need to basically it help you to recognize patterns, and it help you to make decision, right? Okay, should I buy now? Should I wait? should basically don't buy at all? Or, I mean, and what the current situation? Why we see last year in November the price went up? Is it because the elections, or is it because there is big news at that time? So this kind of data, how basically to visualize it, really help us to understand the situation, identify root causes, and also identify the right decision and make the right decisions. So all these just at the high level, but during the course, actually, we'll dig in deeper into these um, basically charts and write some formulas, and even to help us to predict the trends over time. Another data visualization, basically, this is very common, which is the pie charts. It show you like in percentage. As example, you work at let's say Apple, and you work as a software engineer, and you developing a new software build, and you look at your bugs. You want to see in terms of percentage how many P0 bugs basically filed against your product, the software product, versus P1 bugs or P2 bugs. In terms of percent, how many of these bugs basically reported by customer versus the SQA team at the company? In this example here, it's showing like favorite sports percentage, like football, basketball, hockey, badminton, etc. For me personally, I am in favor of football. Okay, another data visualizations, which is a scatter plot. So on a scatter plot also can show you like the weight versus the cost. Here another one, heat map. So in heat map, basically we use the color code. So in this example, show you the intensity. So let's say one of the applications for heat maps, let's say you want to design a good AC system at your home. And your home, let's say double stories where you have like 7 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, you have the kitchen, you have the living room. And now winter time, even you have like heater, but you don't feel like it's efficient. So what you using sensors, heat sensors, you collect data from different corners of the home, different rooms, different avenues, and you basically in this data represent, okay, my thermostat, let's say Google Nest thermostat, I put the temperature to be 21 Fahrenheit. Now 21 Fahrenheit, but in the other room I feel it's cold, while in this room is hot. So you create this, you feed this data to your dashboard, and it will create heat map. It's showing red color as example. This is where the temperature was 21 and above. Another room it could be like 18. This maybe you give it like yellow. Um, it could be like a green or blue, where is it kind of cold in another room or in the kitchen. So this heat map, it will understand the distribution of the heat among your house, and to make decision, oh, this is I expecting 21 in the kitchen, but I'm getting 15. That means there's a problem there. What's the problem? Maybe there is a leakage. So you can basically look at the windows or the doors. There is some slots, opening slots here and there that basically leak the heat outside the home, which is basically decrease the efficiency of your heating system. And the bottom line, you end up paying more money to keep your home basically heated. So I think heat map is very, very important tool to visualize data. I will give you another example also. When you go to the airport or to the malls, and sometimes some areas you try to receive a signal, let's say 5G signal or LTE signal on your phone, but you notice that, oh, some spots they have better signal, stronger signal. We call it SNR in terms of signal to noise ratio. And you try to move from one point to another point, just try to catch the signal, right? Or even for Wi-Fi signals. So we apply this tool all the time. We create like what we call heat map for the signal quality over the airport, or the distribution for signal quality in the mall. And with this heat map, it will show colors as example. Okay, green, this is strong signal in the lobby, by basically the front desk in the mall as example. Or let's say under the stairs, it will see like different color if the signal um, strength, let's say signal to noise ratio minus 9 dBm. And so different signal values, it will be represented with different colors in the heat map. And this is will help engineers and designer when they design their airport, or when they design basically the mall, they say, okay, in this spot, in this corner, we need to add access point, and basically to strengthen the signal, increase, it could be the transmit power, it could be like apply MIMO, multiple input, multiple output, basically system. It could be basically, okay, I need to change the frequency. Let's say if that access point use 2.4 gigahertz band, I need to use 5 gigahertz band here to reduce the interference between them, and this is will improve the signal, the SNR, and reduce the bit error rate, etc. So this is just, some examples of the heat maps. Uh, I cannot emphasize enough on the importance of data visualization based on the examples I provided. Again, so it's simplify complex data, it's enhance interpretations, and facilitate decision making, as I mentioned. Um, in this project, also in this class, we have a lot of hands-on work. And this hands-on work, it will require some skills in the programming. But as I said, don't worry, even if you have zero programming skills, will help you basically to learn what you need there and to be successful in this course. Also, and another thing, how to write formulas like an Excel sheet or basically Google sheet, how to write formula, how to deal with regular expressions, how to use if statements, all these things that we are going to learn in this project. And again, it will be more hands-on project. So basically, it will be very practical. I call it a project because from industry we call it a project, but here it will be like a class workshop. Seaborn also, we learn about Seaborn. As I mentioned, it's a Python library built on the top of Matplot library that will basically designed for making statistical graphics. We will deal with the statistical distribution, some statistical parameters like standard deviations, as example, average values, confidential intervals, etc. And also we'll take you step by step how to basically apply and use these libraries from loading data, how to explore data, how to visualize it, how we'll do some analysis on it. Here, just example of some of the Python like library that we would use. Like example here, Seaborn, Matplot library, Pandas. Will show you how to use the methods that are provided by these libraries, how to load the data sets, how to display these data sets, how to summarize it, how to create graphs and charts, how to plot it, how to customize your plot. So let's say if you want to change the title, if you want to change the size, if you want to change the legends, the X title, Y axis title, etc. Okay, let me see if I can share with you PyCharm now, just to show you a real world example kind of to run it, but let me. Are you familiar guys with PyCharm or any IDE like Sublime, PyCharm? No one? Okay, but that's fine. So let me, it seems, let me do this. Please let me know if you see my screen or if you don't see my screen.
We don't see the screen. Yeah.
You don't? Okay. I face this issue with Zoom. I'm not sure because if it's recording. I try to share with them just the IDE, which is PyCharm. But let me do this. I can take a screenshot for it and just keep it in the slides actually.
Now we
Okay,
can
so
see it.
basically,
Yeah.
you see it now?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming. So basically here, this is basically the PyCharm that we would use in this course, but it's up to you. If some of you familiar with the front IDE, that's fine. By the way, IDE basically it's application. It's used basically where you can write your code, execute your code, and debug your code. So as you see here, you will create like multiple projects. In these projects, you create your files, and in these files, basically you write your code, Python code. As example, here we try to visualize the website traffic over a week in this example. So we import the matplot library, and then from there we create some basically data structures here, which is a list. It gives you the days, the week days, and then the visitors numbers for each day, and then from there we try to visualize this data. So we create a line chart like figure. Basically we give the size and we try to plot it and give some customized information. Example, the title, the X label, the Y label, the legends, etc. And then we execute. Once you execute it, it will generate some graphs like this. And if you see here, this is the title, website traffic over week. This is something can be customized. You can change it to any title you want. The legend, also you can change the color, you can change the type. Y-axis will show you the number of visitors, and the x-axis will show you the weekdays. Example. So example, in Monday, we have around 100 visitors for your website, while in a Tuesday you have more visitors. The peak it was on Saturday, because this is why is that, because it's like a weekend, right? But during the weekdays, people working, they don't have much time basically to explore and watch basically your website. And it depends on the content of your website, right? And Sunday start to go less because people start to prepare for Monday. Monday is the first weekend. So you see how to visualize data. It's help us to understand the situation, to interpret this data. It help us to understand, okay, if your website, you're trying to sell some products, and okay, then what the best time to publish your product? Is it Monday or is it Friday or Saturday, right? So it's more important if you want to advertise, if you want to post your ads like on the website, it's very important to basically visualize this data and make sense of it. And based on this, I say, okay, since the majority of the traffic will be around the weekend, specifically Saturday, right? It's better that I ask the basically digital marketing company to advertise my website, like my product, around the Friday evening time. So this way, I know the next day, by the time those customers receive this advertisement, they will have it will more likely they will come and basically visit my website. Okay. So again, this is PyCharm. There is many other IDEs. I prefer PyCharm because it's basically used in a lot of industry. Many big companies use PyCharm, and it's very user powerful, user friendly tool, and it will help you if you have any errors, if you have any issues, then it will help you to debug it and fix it. Any questions? I think, Murat, we have 7 minutes left, so I will pass the mic back to you if we have any Q&A, any questions. If anyone have okay to be successful in this course, what kind of skills, tools you need. Even if you don't have programming, that's fine. As you see here, we rely a lot on coding, but also we'll use Excel sheet, Google sheet. Um, if we will provide at the beginning also general review for Python programming, and as we see, like basically the data structure that we use in Python and the libraries, it's really user friendly. It's not hard to learn, and you don't have to be like to have computer science background or engineering basically background to be successful in this course.
So thank you, Mohammed, for the presentation. So as you mentioned, data visualization is really key in many areas. Even though you're not data scientist or data analyst, let's say you're project manager or any other natural other scientist or engineer, it'd be great skill to have because there's so many great tools, especially based in Python. Yes, the other programming languages have great visualization, like as you say, JavaScript, MATLAB, they have their own visualization, but Python is very strong. We will really focus on start with Python and all these libraries, CPorn, Matplotlib library, Plotly. There's so many great libraries. You can do different kind of data visualization tools, as well as we touch base with the other data visualization platforms like a Tableau, um, so that you can gain some experience around it, some knowledge around it. So if you have some Python background, as I know some of you has it, and that Python background, get the Python background, and on top of Python background, if you have this data visualization skills, which is around the data analytics skills, it's gonna give you good leverage even for the applying job market in that field if you're looking for it. As I mentioned, it's not only for people who are in data analytics, data science field. Is also good for any field that program in general. So thank you everyone for participating, and we'll send you more link, and let us know if you have any questions. We'll have more lectures in meetup groups. So we have one upcoming in stock market and AI. Hope to see everyone in there. Thank you, Dr. Shakir, for the presentation. I appreciate it. Thanks
Thank
everyone
you.
for participating in Sunday.
Thank you, Dr. Murat, and thanks everyone. I'm looking forward to meet all of you.